I was originally going to make a film where I am outside in my underwear and pour cold water on my head, but seeing how it is freezing out there, I just did not want to make it even colder than it already is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new Cool Kids live stream. Yes, I'm doing this one by myself because this is something I actually wanted to talk about, but seeing how none of the other guys are really into anime or, well, into this series or something, I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll do this on my own if I have to. I mean, we've done Cool Kids reviews where it was a solo stream anyway, but I really wanted to talk about this. So if you guys know me, you know I'm the weeb in the group. So I'm the anime fan, so it's honestly no secret. So if you've been watching our content, then you know that I am a big anime guy. I'm already wearing an Attack on Titan shirt right now, so that should tell you something. But one anime series that I was into for a while was Ranma One Half. So, and if you don't know what Ranma One Half is, I'll go ahead and give the rundown on the series. Okay. So Ranma One Half, it involves this kid named Rama Satoshi. He is betrothed to marry the youngest of the Tendo family, Akane Tendo. However, during a training exercise, he and his father pretty much fell into ponds that were said to be cursed. They say if you fall into one of the ponds, you become whatever drowned years ago. Rama fell in and turned into a girl, and his father pretty much fell into a pond where a panda died, and now he becomes a panda. It's pretty much more of like a slap. It's more of like a silly comedy kind of anime. Ones that are more like romantic comedy kind of thing. It originally started in it was a manga series in the 80s that was made by Rumiko Takahasi. And if that name sounds familiar to you, she's the one that did two other animes you may have heard of. You may have heard of Urise Yatsura featuring Lum. And you also might know, this one's probably going to be even more familiar. You probably also know that she also is the one that worked on the manga for Inuyasha. Yes, that Inuyasha. So, but Ranma was one that actually got me interested. Like, honestly, I wasn't really I've heard of Inuyasha before Ranma, but I wasn't really it didn't seem like it invested me so much, But what really got me into wanting to get more into her work was Ranma. I caught it on. I've been hearing so many things about it. I caught it, I think, on Netflix at one point, and it's just one of those that got me addicted. So, as you know, like I've got some of the Ranma films right here, the OVAs, and while I'm still in the middle of my collection, I do have some of the Ranma books right here. So, and while it wasn't the first of the series while it wasn't the first series to start the whole harem anime, and if you don't know what harem is like a type of anime that involves either one male populated in a group of women, or maybe it's the other way around, like one woman surrounded in a group of men. But honestly, the latter is honestly very rare. So the latter is very rare. I think the only one that comes to my mind when I think of that is Orion Host High School Club. But there's plenty more that involve um, that whole trope of one male populated by a group of females. You know, um, but this was honestly after Yatsura had ended, Takahashi pretty much wanted to work on a new series. So, in the 80s, and what she decided to do was she wanted to make it more about martial arts. She wanted to make it about like martial arts and fighting, but she also was trying to think hard on deciding the character and she couldn't decide if she wanted it to be like a male martial artist or a female martial artist. So she thought, why not both? You know? And if now the main character, as I said, he falls into a pond where a girl drowned, and that pretty much caused him to be cursed every time he comes in contact with cold water. When he comes in contact with cold water, he turns into a girl. Whenever he's poured with hot water, he turns back into a guy. And the same goes for his dad. You do meet other characters along the way. You do meet other characters like you do meet the Ryogo, who pretty much can't tell left from right, who has really bad direction and is easily able to get lost so easily. And he also fell into one of these cursed ponds where he turned into a little pig, which Akane adopts and names him Pichan. Although she doesn't know that Pichan and Ryoga are the same person. But I digress. You also have other characters. You have the Kuno siblings. You have the Kuno siblings. You got Takawaki Kuno, who is pretty much is head over heels over Akane, as well as the female version of Ranma. And then you also have his sister Kadashi, who pretty much is head over heels with the male Ranma, even though neither of them are able to connect the two, seeing like there's a connected two between the male and female Ranma. And there's also another series of where pretty much where Ranma ends up getting having other fiancés that were pretty much come later in. You got Shampoo, the Chinese Amazonian warrior, who pretty much the rule is that if a male in her tribe is able to beat her, then by law she has to marry him. You also have other characters which weren't really in this season at least, but I'm sure they'll be introduced later, like Ukyo. And you also have Shampoo's stalker named Moose, who is a weapons master, and he honestly turns into a duck that because he fell into a pond where a duck drowned. I don't know how that happened, since ducks can easily float on the water, but I digress. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole gist of what it is. It's like a bunch of series of different romantic comedies. It pretty much follows the harem trope, which, by the way, it was back in the 80s, and that was still kind of a new thing. It wasn't like the first thing that introduced it. I mean, Yatsura pretty much did that before, you know. So anyway, let's talk about when I honestly heard about the Netflix series, the Ranma 1/2 Reboot Netflix series. I was honestly pretty hyped, so I was looking forward to I was looking forward to really talking about it, and I was looking forward to seeing it and seeing how much they worked. And I will say this. It honestly does work. Do I think it works well? Do I think it pretty much captures the same kind of essence as not just the original anime, but the manga series, and I would say for the most part it does. So it's not perfect. I'll get to some problems that I have later on, but I would say that this was honestly kind of if you're really an anime fan, or if you're really into like a lot of if you're into Ranma, if you're into like a lot of anime from the 80s and want to see updated reboots of it, then I would say it was worth checking out. Um, and I would say that, and I would honestly say the best thing about it is I do love the updated animation in this. I do love the updated animation. It does bring that more vibrant color. I love the use of colors and all the vibrated look and all. It does feel like an 80s anime that pretty much was brought to life in 2024, you know. It does work. It does capture the same kind of essence as the original anime, as the manga series. You know, this is honestly one that this is honestly something that just looks like it feels within the Ranma universe. Anyway, I also thought they did capture like certain essence from the manga series and from the original anime. The like honestly, I no joke. It's like after watching the reboot, I was really catching up on it because before then I've only watched the original anime, but I hadn't read the manga. But I wanted to try to catch up on it, you know. And then I was also rewatching the original anime to see how and it seems like for the most part it does seem like it fits within each. Like honestly, each episode is like about 3 chapters of the manga. So 3 chapters. And I do think it works well. The voice acting is probably where some. I mean, I don't know if it's just me being used to the original voice actors from the original 80s anime, or what have you. But I think some work, but others not so much. Honestly, Kuno felt like he was being more he was trying too hard to be the next narrator for the next Dragon Ball series, you know? It just seems like that ball from that deep voice, you know? It's like he honestly, because the thing is that Takawaki Kuno is supposed to be a kind of like a jock, kind of like a high school jock, you know? He's supposed to be like the top student where he's the strongest in everything, but he can't get love and it's just like his voice just kind of, I mean, as opposed to the original anime, it's like he did actually sound like he was like a high school jock, you know? But this one, it just felt kind of off-putting for me. Um, the Ranma actor does pretty good, although, like I said, it took some time for me to get used to because I'm so used to the original voice coming from Ranma. Um, and you could say the same thing for Ryoga and Akane. Um, but I mean, it kind of took me a while to get used to it. I think that the original probably may stick out with me a little bit more. But I mean, the voice acting's not bad. So, like I said, I think Kuno is one of the big ones that should have been changed. So, um, but anyway, they did work on that, and I know that right now we're only on season one. So we don't have like literally every character that under the sun. I mean, they haven't introduced Ukyo, they haven't introduced Moose, they didn't, and I'm dreading when they bring in Habusa. You know, I'm really dreading because honestly, I've never liked Habusa. Habuso. I'm sorry, Habuso is his name. Shit. I'm really dreading when they bring him in because I've never liked Habuso. He's honestly just the dirty old man who acts just perverted and stupid, you know? I just never liked that character. I get that was a trait in the 80s, especially like with Dragon Ball, you have Master Roshi, who was like the old wise mentor, but he's also perverted. But he's also very perverted, you know, like trying to steal women's underwear kind of thing. But it's just he got on my nerves too quickly in the original, you know, and it's just something that just bothered me so much. But I know they're gonna bring him in for season 2 or something or later down the line. I just never liked it. I just never liked it. Um, and also but I am looking forward to when they bring in like Moose and all, because he is the weapon master, and to show that even Shampoo has her own stalker, you know, and she's got her own conflict, you know, because just like how Ranma's got so many fiancés and behind him, that like both the man like and the people that are in love with both versions of him, you know. You got some that are in love with the female version of Ranma. You got others being in love with the male version of Ranma. So I would have but I would have think that would actually be able to. I think that would have been able to be able, like, I think they could be able to work with him, you know, with Moose. And I do also love how they also keep Ryoga. Like, he is the one that he's kind of stupid, but like he loses directions. He challenges someone to a fight and says, "Meet me at this point," and the fight could literally be next door, and he would be all the way on the other side of China. it's just so funny, you know. But he's also in love with Akane. So, and because the thing about with Ranma and Akane, that's pretty much like the whole meat of the series. You know, it's between Ranma and Akane. As I said, they're both betrothed by both of their fathers, so that Ranma could take over the family Tendo dojo. You know? Because both of their fathers are friends, and he wanted to make sure that they make sure that he marries this girl, so that way he'll be able to take over his friend's family dojo. But the thing is the fact that Ranma and Akane, they have more of a love-hate relationship. And I do mean love-hate relationship. They're not in love with each other right away. Honestly, from the outside, it looks like something that it pretty much looks like something like they would be the worst couple to even be a part of. They look like they would be the worst because they argue all the time. They call each other names. I mean, how many times has Ranma told Akane that she's not cute? It would seem like that they would be like the worst couple to be a part of because they always argue and bicker with each other. But you can tell like that they still have kind of a soft spot for each other. They still care about each other deep down inside. And I would think that by the end, and you would think by the end, like you would want them to eventually get together. So yeah, and there is a word for that where it's like someone who's actually who pretty much is nasty on the outside, but then eventually falls in love and becomes the person's lover, and that's a term in Japanese anime, tsundere. So and it's a common trope in anime, you know. It's always been a common trope in anime. And I do think that they probably could be able to. The one thing about the original anime is that, from what I was told, is that it started off strong. The original anime, as much as I really love the original anime, it starts off strong, but it doesn't follow through with its ending. So it starts becoming more closer to the manga, but because the anime was going too fast and trying to catch up with the manga, it kind of loses itself halfway through. So it's not really more about following up with the connection between Akane and Ranma, but more just like more of the side things. You know, it kind of more. It seems like by the second half, it probably just falls into more filler territory, and it kind of loses itself. And I really wish that they probably would have been able to follow up until the manga, because and I feel like now is a good opportunity for them to be able to do that. I could see that I could see how they would be able to follow up within that story, because honestly, because the manga series has ended like over 30 years ago, I think. So now that we do have a follow-up, we could pretty much be able to adapt the storyline from the manga books. We could be able to. And I just feel like this is a good way, and maybe because a lot of people don't know about Ranma One Half, then I feel like this whole remake could be able to give a good insight on the series. It could pretty much get people who had just got into anime, get them exposed to it, and get them exposed to something that has been out for a long time, and I feel like anyone who gets into Ranma could pretty much be able to. Anyone who gets into Ranma could be able to check out the original, and read the manga series. I think that honestly could be able to work. So, and I do like some of the moments. I will say that certain parts of it, I probably felt like it probably didn't need to be, like with the whole ice skating episodes, where the ice skating fighting. I felt like that because honestly, when I watched the original anime, I thought that was more just a filler episode, but it's not. Honestly, it was in this. It was in the manga. I've read it, so I honestly think that, because honestly, the two characters that they fight against, they're pretty much like they're hardly in like the other episodes of the original. Like they pretty much make an appearance in the ice skating fight episode, and then they just don't show up. So, but I don't know. Maybe they were in the manga later on. I'm just saying, like from what I was seeing, I felt like that could have probably been cut a little bit. But then again, we'll see what happens. Like I'm still working on trying to collect the manga series. I'm already up to this volume, so I've still got a ways to go. And I am going to collect more as it goes along. So anyway, I also thought, and I would like to see what else they could be able to bring with this new reboot series. I could see what else they would be able to bring. I do like how Dr. Tofu is like still. He does play a supporting character, and it's like he's the family doctor, but he has a crush on the oldest of the Tendo family. I just think it's just like the way he acts. It's just honestly just pretty funny to me. So it's pretty funny to me. It's really, and I do think it works in. What else do I want to talk about? I love the different. I do love the different fighting styles that they were used. So of course the main thing that revolves around this whole series is martial arts. It's about fighting. I mean, remember, Ranma is pretty much a student for the martial arts school of anything goes. And when I say anything goes, I mean anything goes. Like, do whatever you need to do to pretty much knock out your opponent. That's what I mean. And I think that they could be able to, and I do like how they had other fighting styles. Like I said, there was an ice skating fight, martial artist fight, and there was also the ribbon, the ribbon gymnastics fighting style. Except you couldn't use your arms or legs. You had to use weapons. You had to use certain weapons, to pretty much knock out your opponent. It's just honestly just a lot of fun. I know something I would like to, like I said, something I would like to see is what they would is if they try to follow more closer to the manga series, instead of trying fill up with most of the episodes in the second half with like filler episodes. Because honestly, like I said, that was a big thing in the original anime. It's just the fact that it started strong and started falling close to the manga, but then it just kind of goes into its own territory. It goes into its own territory, and it makes filler episodes because they're too caught up with the manga. And if you don't know about this, let me state that if you're making an anime that's based on a manga book, it's always best to at least it's always be able to at least wait until the manga has already far ahead. I would say like wait at least a year. Like if the manga has been out for a year, then okay, you can adapt the next episode. Otherwise, because if you follow too closely, you're not going to have a whole lot of material. I mean, just think of it this way. Think of it like how the creators of Game of Thrones, they pretty much were able to adapt the first 4 seasons into the first 3 books, and then by the 5th season, they kind of they took elements from the the later books, but they started more drifting off into their own thing, to the point where it's not even based on the books anymore. It was kind of the same way with the original anime of Ranma. It's like it followed closely to the manga books, and then by the end, it kind of more set off its own thing, which a lot of people were disappointed that it didn't have much of a conclusion. So, and I understand that. It's too bad we don't have a lot of comments here. Otherwise, I would like to address some of them. But I mean, I'm doing this by myself. I apologize if I act a little nervous. I'm just kind of used to doing group streams, and I mean, I'm not used to talking constantly for an hour. I don't think this stream's probably not going to be super long, but I just really wanted to talk about this anime series and wanted to at least get my thoughts on it, as a fan of Ranma, as a fan of this series. It's something that I really wanted to talk about so much. And I think I think it's probably worth checking out. Even if you're not into anime, maybe if you're not into anime, but you'll do silly rom-com kind of stories and all, I think this is honestly worth checking out. So, but I really wanted to talk about this. I really wanted to, and I know I've pretty much been talking a lot. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to talk about? I know when it comes to I know that if I were let's see here. I guess if I were to point out one of my favorite characters, it probably would be, I don't know. It's I do like a Ranma and I do like a Akane and all, but I would say maybe one of my favorite characters probably would be Ryoga. He's just honestly just too funny and all. I know, and like I said, my least favorite character probably would be Habuso, because he just was too annoying for me. But I don't know if I have anything else to say. I would say give this series a watch, or if you want to watch the original anime, I think it's on Hulu. Last time I checked, maybe it's on Netflix. I don't know, but I would say give this series a watch. Yeah, I didn't think this stream would be very long. I really wanted to talk about this. I don't know how many views this is going to get. I know I'm sorry for rambling and sorry for just repeating myself and things like that. But I just wanted to talk about this series, even if none of the other guys give a shit. So, which, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I'm pretty much like the main weeb guy, I'm the one that wants to, honestly, I was even wanting to do favorite anime discussion, but I know that no one else in the chat, no one else in the group gives a shit. I mean, I still love you guys. I still love you guys, though. All right. But yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say. I mean, there's no one else in the comments, so I can't really say anything much else. But I would say Ranma on Netflix, I would say give that a watch. So, I mean, it has problems, it has flaws. I just hope that by the next season they could be able to keep this whole pattern up of trying to adapt the manga books. So, and the reason I wanted to do, I wanted to wait until now to talk about Ranma was because I wanted to wait for all 12 episodes to be released because they honestly, I knew they announced 12 episodes, and for some reason I know Netflix likes to. I know Netflix, they'll usually try to release all of their episodes at once so that you can pretty much binge them all in a few hours. But for some reason, they pretty much decided to make this like a week by week release. But anyway, what can you do though? What can you do? I mean, like I said, I wanted to wait until all 12 episodes are released. I'm looking forward to season 2, what they have to offer. I would say give this series a watch. Even if you're not into anime, you know, I'd say give it a. If you look for something like that silly, goofy, give this a watch. So, and I don't know if I have anything else to say. So this was honestly kind of a short stream, I know, but I mean, this is what happens when you want to talk about something but you don't have anyone else to back up, bounce off it. But anyway, that's going to about do it for this stream. So stay tuned next week where we are going to be reviewing our final film for 2024, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. So, and then after that, we will do our end of the year trio streams in January, starting with our favorite movies, or starting with the worst movies we've seen, our favorite movies we've seen, and what to expect for 2025. So that about does it. So in the meantime, all right, take it easy, guys, and you guys have a happy holidays, happy whatever you celebrate. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Flying Spaghetti Monster Day. I don't know, but just I'll do it. So in the meantime, take it easy, guys. Once again, we've brought light into the world. You're welcome, America.